Hey everyone, I'm just getting started, so let's see who's popping on. It's not quite 7 o'clock, and I always kind of log on early so that I can share this to my personal Facebook page, which I'll be doing now. And so, hey there. Let's see here. Hey, how's it going? Hey, Jim. All right. Well, hopefully you can hear me. And Scott, hey there. All right. This is just going to be a second while I share this, and then we'll get started, all right? So, let's see here. All right. Hey, Frank. Okay, I think that worked. So it's just about 7 o'clock. We'll get started here in just a second. Some more people are joining, and I'm gonna go put this iPad up, and we'll get started, all right? How's everyone doing? Hey, Alex. All right, so it's close to 7 o'clock, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started and fill you in. So I have some new works to show you. This is the 5th live stream of the season of 2021, and the hybrid thing has been working out pretty good. I have been doing this at like 7 o'clock, and then at 7:30 I open the doors for a limited number of people. I'm keeping it to 6 people, and masks are required now in all indoor spaces in Provincetown. So if you are local and you want to see any of these pieces in person, come on by after 7:30. So anyway, my name is James Frederick, and this is Frederick Studio Provincetown. I'm an artist. I moved here in 2014 to open this studio, and that summer I spent a lot of time out in Cape Cod Bay on a sailboat, and I loved it. And then being from the Midwest, for years I would visit my sister who kept a boat in Michigan, on Lake Michigan, and had a lovely big sailboat up there that we went out on quite a bit. So I love sailing, and I wanted to just kind of paint a body of work that really expressed that love I have for sailing, for the wind and for the water and the sky. Hey Chris, I'm glad you could join. It's great. I think you've joined every one of these. So anyway, I have some pieces that I have pulled together to express that, and they really are a range of work, both in size and in style. You'll see some that are more abstracted and some that are more representational. But the thing that is common amongst all of these pieces is I painted all of these in one sitting, not meaning all 8 pieces, but meaning that the way that I often paint when I paint acrylic on canvas is all wet and all at once, or what we call alla prima, which is meaning that I don't step away really from the canvas until at least 90-95% of the piece is finished. In a lot of cases, the entire piece is finished. So I condition all my canvases out dark brown first, and then kind of sometimes depending on what I'm doing, if it's abstract, I really don't do any kind of notation on the canvas or any kind of a sketch. And then if I am painting something that's more representational, I will sketch out a little bit of framework so that as I go at it, I have some direction. So anyway, these are often filmed. I often film these in a time lapse, so you can actually see how I step in front of this brown canvas and then paint the light and then the scene comes to life. And I love posting those. You can see a lot of those. Hey, Lori. You can see a lot of those on my Instagram account, which is Frederick_studio_P-Town. But you can link to it directly from my website. Just at the bottom, there's a bar for like my YouTube channel, my Instagram, and you can just click right in to those. There's also one for my Facebook, which will get you to this account that you're watching this on. So, but anyway, those time lapses are a lot of fun, and they actually show you then how I layer the paint on this dark background and how I do it really all at once. And a lot of times those things that happen with the wet paint mixing with wet paint when I might not want it to, and it does, actually are these happy accidents that happen where I get these amazing connections of different colors and light and value. So I love the way that that works out. And it feels like there's a lot of energy in these pieces because of that. I do a lot of, and you know this if you've seen my live streams before, or if you're familiar with my work, that I often will expose a lot of the tooth of the canvas because I love the energy of the paint and the fabric and how some of it might be unpainted, but it still has that brown ground that I've put on. So anyway, enough talking. I'm going to take you through the works. I have 8 pieces to show you. And just like always, I'll be rolling the camera around the gallery here. I have some in a couple locations that you're not used to probably seeing things in, but we'll go through them. All right, so I don't see any questions, so let's just go. So I'm gonna roll the camera right here to this piece, and just have to do one adjustment and then it should be pretty good for the rest of the show. So this piece is called Moored, and you know, it's inspired by sailing. It includes sailboats, but it also has this beautiful level of light. You'll notice a very subtle light level. There's not a lot of contrast because if you think about dawn, and when the light is just coming over the horizon, you really don't get all those deep, dark shadows and contrast that the light of the day actually provides. So, so this piece is called Moored. It's 24 by 24. And again, I love the subtle color. And I'm gonna bring the camera in closer so you can see some of the texture on this canvas as I was talking about. So, especially like in the sky here and with the clouds, you can see the tooth of the fabric of the canvas. So yeah, this was all done kind of in one quick painting session. Again, just all while it's wet. So, there we go. Yeah, there's not a lot of detail, which I like. It's just kind of referencing some things that you might, you know, identify. Obviously, sailboats with moorings. So yeah, that one's 24 by 24. Thank you, Dennis. Good to see you. All right, so I'll take you to the next piece, and it's a 12 by 12, and it's over here in a position that I don't often show work. So it's this little teeny wall that is between my door and windows here. But the piece is called, I'm hoping you can see that, yeah. The piece is called Starboard View. And it's taken off of, so this is actually painted from a photograph I took out in Cape Cod Bay, just off of Race Point and off of the starboard side of the vessel as we were sailing along. And it was a great day out there, and you can see some of the detail as I pull this in closer for you. So I love the way that the water and the waves turned out, the sail, and then there, of course, is Race Point light in the distance. So this one's smaller, it's 12 by 12, and it's called Starboard View. And thank you, Frank. I am gonna roll the camera over here. There we go. And I think I can, yeah, it looks pretty good. So this piece is called At Sea, and it's a piece where it was kind of a calm day, and a lot of light, kind of filtered clouds that were kind of obscuring the sun. And you can see how the light was coming through the clouds. And oh, hey, Natalie. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I love the light in this one too, and especially the reflection of the light into the water. So this is one of those scenes that I conjure up in my mind when I think about just being at total peace and out on the water. So it's called At Sea. It's 20 by 20. So it's just a little smaller than that first piece I shared with you. Thanks, Chris. So this one is At Sea. And just like usual, all of these pieces are at the link in the description of this video, and you can click right into any of these to get more details, what the finish size is with the frame, and how you can acquire them. So this one is called At Sea. I didn't give you a close-up of that, so maybe I will real quick. And you can see a little more of the texture and the water. I love the highlight, the lights and the low in that part. And then where the sun is. Yep. So, all right. Well, thanks for dealing with my camera. One of these days, I'm going to hire a cameraman. Just come in here and hold the camera, but only if they show me they're vaccine proof. Okay. So this piece is called Wind and Wave, and it's smaller. It's 12 by 16, and it is a little more abstracted, and you'll see some of these pieces get more abstract as we move along the way here. Hey, Sue. So yeah, this one is called Wind and Wave. It's 12 by 16, and it's really one of those days out at sea where when you're out there, you kind of think, oh my God, we should probably turn back because it gets to be a bit rough. There's a lot of swells going on, and you can see kind of in the sky, the light hitting those dense clouds that are kind of rolling in at the horizon. So it's at one of those, again, the points where you think it's time to get off the boat. So anyway, Wind and Wave. Here's a couple little passes across the detail of this so that you can see. And yeah, Wind and Wave. So I'm gonna keep going here unless there's any questions. Let's check real quick. Oh, thank you everyone for all your kind comments. I'm gonna move this on down the road here to this spot. So this is the key piece of this show. This is the one that I use to promote it. I'm trying to get a full view of it in here. Here we go. And it's called Leeward Sky. And I think you can see the whole thing. So this one's a little more abstracted, but it's definitely one of those eastern views across the harbor at sunrise. And, you know, that would be the direction of the downwind or leeward direction. So this piece is 30 inches wide, or 30 inches tall by 40 inches wide. It's quite a significant piece. I'm going to step in here so you can, and step back so you can kind of see like the size of it. maybe, or maybe not. Later I'll give you a shot of the whole wall and you can kind of get a sense of it. But I love the color in this one, and I love how the light kind of layers that color and the reflection as well. So I'm going to bring you closer so you can see some of the deep purples and how I layer in the orange and the pink and well, there's not really pink. It's more of a light purple. And the yellows and blues. You know, if you paint, you realize that, and if you're painting wet, that when you run yellow up against blue, there's a big chance that you might end up with chartreuse, which is never really a great sunset color, or sunrise color. But, well, thank you, Dennis. Yeah. And yeah, I love the life of this one with the color. So, all right, that one's Leeward Sky, and it's 30 by 40. I'm going to move on now to, I guess, way down here, because these pieces are large, to this piece. And this piece is called Afloat, and it is much more abstract than some of the others. It's 30 by 36. And it's really just from my impression of thinking of like form and color and movement when I'm out there, you know, on the water and feeling the calm and the peace, but the excitement of it as well. So I'm not going to give you a lot of clues about, thank you, about any more of this, but it's 30 inches tall by 36 inches wide. So again, pretty large piece. And it's called Afloat. And you can see some of that texture that I was talking about. All right, I'm gonna move on to the next one, which is 30 by 30, so it's a little smaller than those other two. And this one is called Dipping In, or Dippin' In. And it's really that moment when the sun dips in to the horizon. This is inspired by a lot of sunsets that I've seen off of Race Point, where you really don't get a sense of any landmass at the horizon when you're looking kind of more north and northwest, I guess, because the sun's setting. And I love the texture and the movement in this one. But there was a fishing excursion that I went on where we watched the sun drop from the boat like this, and it was pretty amazing. So this one's 30 by 30, and it's called Dippin' In. And I have one more to share with you. It's a smaller piece, it's 16 by 16, and it's, again, a little abstracted. It's called Glimmer. And it really is about the way the light plays on the surface of the water. And you can see how there's a lot of light and color that reflects, but then there's also this sense of like what's below and a little deeper beyond. So this piece is 16 by 16, it's called Glimmer. So, does anyone have any questions? Those are the 8 pieces I included in the show. I do have the floor marked here for me to show you the whole wall, or a lot of it anyway. There we go. And I can step back and you can kind of get more of a sense of the scale of these pieces. They're fairly large and would make great statement pieces for sure in an interior. So I wanted to thank you all for tuning in. Are there any questions that I may have missed? Let me look. I don't see any. what makes you have the urge to capture a certain moment? So that's a great question. The question was, what makes me have the urge to capture a certain moment? And there's a lot of variables. Certainly would be a memory, a particular moment where maybe I've had a revelation or something has happened where I just want to capture that moment. And it could be because of an emotion, but it could also be because of like a physical beauty. So it could be a moment that I just felt was so beautiful that I want to capture it. So, and then when those things overlap, when it's a moment that has an emotional value and it's also physically like a beautiful moment, then I feel like that really makes the piece rich. So a lot of these are that way. They cross over because those moments that are filled with beauty are also filled with emotion. So I hope that answers your question. And any other questions? No. So let me talk a little bit about what's going on for the next couple live streams. So I went and reconfigured the schedule for the rest of the season. I'm keeping the same dates, but I'm switching up the subject matter. So I was going to do a show in October called Sweet and Salty, and I decided to bring it forward. So that's going to be the September show now, September 10th. And then that makes room for the October date to be about my wood panels, which I really wanted to fit into the, thanks Knox, that I wanted to move into the lineup. And so that would be really good. So I'm going to, can I flip the camera? I want to, whoa. That's crazy. So that's what I'm always dealing with, is that it's in reverse like that when I'm looking at it, which is awful. But I think if I tap this twice, it goes the other way. Yay! So I wanted to show you quickly. So this is going to be in reverse because I didn't reverse it. Oh my God, let me see if I can do this. There. So now you're seeing actually what's reality. So this piece up here is a new piece that you'll see in Sweet and Salty, and it's a large 36 by 36 piece. So yeah, it'll be more representational work like these that you saw in the past, that type of thing. So that is what you can look forward to in September. And then October, we're going to go through a lot of these wood panels that I do. So I love the way that these come to life and they become very colorful. So that will be in October. And you can see I'm doing a lot of these smaller ones now too. So, and these are in these great white frames. So that'll be fun. And then I just wanted to remind you that I'm always still doing these little minis. So these are always in the studio and available to pick up, even on the website as well. So here is a new batch of Moors that I did recently. So those are available as well. So sorry about flipping the camera. There, now you're seeing what the studio actually really looks like. So I'm going to put you back on to the tripod. And, whoa, sorry folks. And just before I sign off, just look and see if there's any questions that popped up while I was doing that impromptu tour of the studio. You never know what's going to happen when you tune in to my live streams. So who knows what will be the next thing that happens. So I am going to hang up or sign off if there isn't any other questions. Thank you everyone for joining. I'm going to open now to the public. So if there's anyone here in P-Town that wants to come by and see any of this work, it is kind of quiet here for an August, which is kind of strange, but we'll see. All right, thanks everyone.